From the Detroit Free Press, I'm Robin Chan with today's voice briefing. It's Thursday, December 14th, 2023. From criminal justice reporter Andrea Sahuri, Wayne County prosecutor Kim Worthy announced Wednesday that a suspect has been charged in the killing of Detroit synagogue leader Samantha Wohl. Michael Jackson Bolanos, age 28, from Detroit, was charged with felony murder during a first-degree home invasion and is believed to have acted alone. Worthy said the suspect did not know Wohl. He allegedly entered her Lafayette Park home and stabbed her to death multiple times using, according to Worthy, a quote, straight-edge cutting instrument, end quote. A neighbor discovered Wohl dead on the ground outside of another neighbor's apartment. A trail of blood led detectives to Wohl's home. Despite previous statements from Detroit police that there were no signs of forced entry, Worthy said Wednesday that the front door to Wohl's home, quote, was ajar and unlocked, and a significant amount of blood was inside, end quote. Jackson Bolanos was also charged with home invasion and for lying to police officers. For more on this developing story, you can search for Andrea Sahuri's article, Detroit Man, 28, Charged in Killing of Samantha Wohl, Jewish Synagogue Leader, on Freep.com.
I'm Claire Hendrickson for the Detroit Free Press. Legislation signed into law Tuesday aims to overhaul Michigan's juvenile justice system. The package expands opportunities for diversion for youth who don't pose a risk to the public. It also requires the use of risk and mental health screening tools prior to diversion and eliminates certain fines and fees. Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist II, who signed the legislation in Governor Gretchen Whitmer's absence, touted the changes, saying, quote, there are a lot of things that you can do to help a person besides lock them up. But he couldn't sign one bill in the package because it was not taken up for a vote in the state Senate before lawmakers adjourned for the year. The remaining piece of legislation would implement a right to counsel for indigent youth. Juvenile justice advocates signed a letter to lawmakers earlier this week urging the passage of the bill.
I'm Andrew Burkle with the Free Press Sports Department, and on Wednesday, we learned more about why former University of Michigan linebackers coach Chris Partridge was let go amidst the sign-stealing scandal. Back on November 17th, Partridge was fired by Michigan just a few hours before the team took off for their game against Maryland. The news immediately blew up online because it was also right after Michigan had a sudden about-face and decided to drop their legal case to try and get head coach Jim Harbaugh reinstated after a 3-game suspension was announced by the Big Ten. The two news stories put together carried extra weight, and there was rumblings that Partridge, who was allegedly close with another Michigan assistant who is no longer with the program, Connor Stalions, may have destroyed evidence. In a letter released Wednesday as part of a FOIA request by the Detroit Free Press, the school did not specifically mention destroying of any evidence, but said, quote, as we discussed today, the university has received evidence that you have failed to abide by the university directive not to discuss any ongoing NCAA investigation with anyone associated with the Michigan football program or others. The letter then continued by saying that Partridge had been fired effective immediately and was not eligible to be rehired by the school. Partridge was in the middle of his second stint with the Wolverines under Harbaugh after leaving for a few years to coach at Ole Miss. Since he was fired, Partridge has denied any knowledge of the sign-stealing scheme or any illegal scouting, while also saying that he did not destroy any evidence. To read more about this story and the many previous stories that led up to this one, head to our website at freep.com/sports or click on the link in the description of this episode.
Find more from the Detroit Free Press on Freep.com. That's FREEP.com. Thanks for listening, and you'll hear more from us tomorrow.